Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
You are about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
All right, we're back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Doc Dali, 1-877 DOCDALI. So yesterday, and I'm sorry, my allergies are really bad today. Yesterday, we learned that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem had to be taken to the hospital for an allergic reaction. From what we understand, she's recovering, she's doing better. I don't exactly know what the hospital course found in terms of what the allergen was. Usually when somebody's hospitalized for an allergic reaction, we observe. We may give epinephrine, we may give steroids, we may do breathing treatments, supportive treatments, watch for shock. So in a severe allergic reaction, we always recommend to make sure that you are within a medical facility. But immediately people start to ask, what could have, caused a very healthy young woman overall to go into a severe reaction, especially when, most of us at that age, know our allergens. And so people were asking, was it, any cosmetic procedure or Botox or whatever. And so all of a sudden people start to guess. So now the media is saying, well, this might be because she was at a biohazard facility the day before. So, which then raises a lot of questions. From what we understand, this is being reported by the Economic Times, Kristi Noem was touring Fort Detrick's high-level biohazard lab with RFK Jr. and Senator Rand Paul. This visit was initiated due to safety concerns that led to a temporary work stoppage. Now, the lab, I guess, investigates dangerous viruses and other biohazards. And so now people are concerned about, one, what was she exposed to? Are other workers exposed? It was reported as an allergic reaction, but did she have a reaction that wasn't allergic? Did she have a reaction due to being exposed to a pathogen? And we aren't getting a lot of details on that, and people are concerned. Is anybody else going to be exposed? Was this deliberate? Was this an act of terrorism? So the timing obviously has sparked a lot of concerns. Lab and lab safety has been a topic, since I went to school, but in recent media, because of COVID and the Wuhan lab and the COVID virus probability of being leaked. And so visiting a biohazard lab in a biosecurity area, is supposed to have certain precautions. You're not supposed to be able to be exposed that quickly. So it could just be a theory. And maybe she has developed an allergy to something else. People will say, look, I'm not allergic to anything, so I'm good. I wasn't allergic to sulfa drugs until probably the 17th time I took it, and then that reaction was bad. I'm not allergic to bee stings, but I've only been stung once. You usually don't have a reaction the first time. So I have no idea if the second sting, the fourth sting, the eighth sting could be an allergy. So we do develop allergies or intolerances or vulnerabilities later in our life. And so, it could also be that, who knows, maybe she has asthma, and with all the pollen and none of us being able to breathe right now because of bad allergies, maybe that put her into a respiratory issue. But being that she was at a biohazard facility and then had to be hospitalized the next day, it's raising a lot of concern. So, we don't have too many details, of course not. All we have is, we see some pictures posted. Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs at DHS, Tricia McLaughlin, told the Daily Beast that no one was taken to a hospital by ambulance on Tuesday because of an allergic reaction, but was transported to the hospital out of an abundance of caution. She is alert and recovering. So that's all the information we have on that. So the lab was under scrutiny, from what we understand, because in April, there was a work stoppage by Kennedy's department, and it followed identification and documentation of personnel issues involving contract staff that compromised the facility's safety culture. Now, that's not cool. Now, an unnamed HHS official thought the incident was a lover spat between the researchers at the facility, and one of them poked holes in the other's PPE. But being that any sort of BS, really, you don't sit there and poke holes in somebody else's protective gear. Obviously, people are not following protocol. So I agree. Close the lab temporarily until you can figure out what the hell is going on. I've heard of clinics not operating correctly, and I've recommended just close it down. Just stop it until you guys know what the hell you're doing. So not a big surprise to see a lab get closed down to be inspected. But this is kind of concerning. As it pertains to allergic reactions, I don't like allergies. Allergies scare me because, as I said, you just don't know what you're going to be allergic to. If you know you're allergic to peanuts, well, you could, guard against it. You have to trust the labels, sadly. If you can't trust the labels, which I urge you not to, because sometimes there's contamination and recalls, make sure you have an EpiPen. Try to see an allergist for desensitization. But so many of us have absolutely no clue what we're even allergic to. And today, I just opened the door, right? Because the cat and dog wanted to run outside, even though they have a doggy door, but they want, red carpet treatment. I opened the door. Within a minute, I am just sneezing and coughing because it was really windy yesterday where I live. And it was significant where I couldn't breathe for a little bit. Anything could cause, sadly, a severe reaction. An antibiotic. I see people very careless as it pertains to medications. And we had a patient last week call up saying that a medicine they were given online is starting to make them really, really sick, and they feel they're severely reacting. So we told them to go to the ER, or we offered to call 911. They declined. So we could, institute epinephrine, steroids. Sometimes we'll do H1 blockers and H2 blockers. Patients have asked me, why are they giving me Pepcid? I'm not having stomach issues. Well, because it's a histamine. You have your H1 blockers and your H2 blockers. We will, in terms of urticaria or anaphylaxis or allergies, kind of attack the histamine receptors by all ends. And so it's an extra level to prevent allergic reactions. And so, I'm like, why did you call? Well, I thought I had a sinus infection, so I needed an antibiotic. Maybe we need to really, really confirm before we start taking medications. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Host. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethost.com/terms.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text FREE to 99799, and I'll send you my free training. I promise you I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text FREE to 99799, and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's FREE to 99799. Again, FREE to 99799.
Hi, it's Mark Falter, host of the Financial Fitness Show. I strongly believe that no one should ever pay 1 penny more in taxes than they are legally obligated. Unfortunately, for most hardworking Americans, this just isn't the case. Why? Because most people spend more time planning next weekend's getaway than trying to ensure they're going to pay less in taxes. My financial fitness team has put together some materials that I know are going to help you. It's the Tax Savings Kit. Tax Savings Kit includes 3 things: free tax analysis, top 10 ways to pay less in taxes, and an investor's guide to taxes. Now, how do you get it? Simple. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. I'm Mark Falter. This is Financial Fitness, making personal finance profitable.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Host. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethost.com/terms.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. Daliah, 1-877-DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer. And big thanks to you all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube. Click like and subscribe. So we have a ruling from SCOTUS on the gender transition treatment for minors landmark case. And there's this was a very interesting ruling, but expected, definitely expected. The Supreme Court has ruled today that a Tennessee law that banned transgender medical procedures for adolescents in the state is not discriminatory. They ruled 6-3, conservative versus liberal. At issue with the case, according to Fox News, was United States versus Scametti. Whether Tennessee Senate Bill number 1, which, quote, prohibits all medical treatments intended to allow a minor to identify with or live as a purportedly identity inconsistent with the minor's sex, or to treat purported discomfort or distress with a discordance between the minor's sex and asserted identity, violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Chief Justice John Roberts ruled that the law question is not subject to heightened scrutiny because it does not classify on any basis that warrant heightened review. For those of you who are legal experts, that probably makes a lot more sense than it reads. And I'll tell you what I think it means. This case carries with it the weight of fierce scientific and policy debates about the safety, efficacy, and propriety of medical treatments in an evolving field. The voices in these debates raise sincere concerns. The implications for all are profound. So this doesn't. So the ruling doesn't say that the Supreme Court justices is weighing in on medical evidence from overseas where they're banning procedures in minors, like in the UK. What it does is this ban, is this something that the courts have to intervene on from a legal and logistical standpoint? And protecting minors would not institute them going in and overruling it. So this ruling could serve as a legal pretext in future cases involving whether sexual orientation classifies as a protected class, or are you the protected class before an adult says you need to do different. They say the Equal Protection Clause does not resolve these disagreements, nor does it afford us a license to decide them as we see best. So Chief Justice Roberts says our role is not to judge the wisdom, fairness, or logic of the law before us, but only to ensure that it does not violate the equal protection guarantee of the 14th Amendment. Having concluded it does not violate the equal protection guarantee, we leave questions regarding its policy to the people, their elected representatives, and the democratic process. So they punted it back, saying this does not violate the 14th Amendment. All right? If the state wants to vote that we don't put minors through medical treatments that have been questioned, that have varying degrees of evidence, that's up to the state. So the what that does now is it starts to kind of, as I said, relook at, if you don't identify as something, does that put you in a different protective class? So if I, let's say, want let's say you're a male and you don't want to get drafted. Can you identify as, but I don't identify as a male, so you can't draft me. Even though the military may not, now, under the current Trump administration, provide treatments for transgender transitioning. But I mean, if there's a draft, can you identify and say, nope, sorry, I don't identify as that, so now I'm out. It's tricky, but on the other end, it's pretty clear. So before all this started, over the past 10, 20 years, we have successfully stopped parents and schools and clergy from forcing a child who thinks they're gay to undergo painful conversion therapy. This is following the progress we made, which is why this is so kind of hypocritical. We were, for years, advocating to protect these kids from undergoing painful conversion and ill-advised and no evidence-based conversion therapies. My child thinks they're gay, so we need to force them into the non-gay box. And we could convert them. We could use medications. We could use psychiatry. We could send them to these camps. And the medical community was like, oh, hell no. And I believe even the ACLU. So we, up until this point, we're on the side of you don't put a child through a painful process. If they were born that way, they should be proud of who they are. That's why we have Pride Month. We don't force it. We don't medicate. We don't cause them to undergo painful transitioning or gender or conversion. And we don't make them more suicidal by saying they can't be who they are. All of a sudden, then it changed to, oh, wait a second. No, we need to medicate. We need to do surgery. I thought we were protecting the kids. 'Cause as a doctor, that's where I'm at. We need to protect the child, especially the child that is not old enough to give informed consent. So when you have the UK say, no, we're not doing these treatments on minors. I mean, if they're enrolled in a clinical study, we may have some waivers, but for the most part, no. The studies are inconclusive. In fact, the suicide risk could go up if a child thinks, wow, you're going to make me a girl instead of a boy. And then they come to find out, no, they're not, their expectations were too high. I mean, a child who wakes up in the morning and says, this is not my body. I have got to get out of my body. There's a small percentage of individuals, and they need help, they need support. But promising them that you are going to give them a new body. Have any of you ever had cosmetic surgery? When you go in for cosmetic surgery, all right, and I have once, the doctor is very, very clear on how your expectations may far exceed the reality of what's going to happen. And they have documents of informed consent for you to sign so that you don't turn around and sue if you don't end up liking your breasts, your butt, your body shape, your face. So who is telling these kids that you are going to be completely opposite? Sorry. Oh, allergies. Boy, sorry. I used to sneeze faster. Now it takes forever for me to sneeze. I apologize. So, if I was a parent of a kid and my kid came to me saying, I'm not a boy, Mom, I'm a girl. The first thing you do is you ask them, okay, why? Why do you think you're a girl? Well, because I like dresses. Well, we don't do that anymore. Boys, you could like dresses whether you're a boy or girl. Why do you say you're a girl? Well, because I want long hair. I want to look like a girl. Well, nowadays you can't. You could have long hair. You could wear what you want. Is it that you want to have babies later? Is it that you want to be a mom later? Well, are we giving false hope that a young boy could think that they could later become pregnant and become a mom? Oftentimes, many of these kids have gender dysphoria because they cannot stand their classmates, and they're scared in the bathrooms, and they're scared during sports and locker rooms, and they gravitate towards the community that treats them better. Well, then we need to stop the bullying. We need to ensure that that kid is not getting beat up in the boys' bathroom such that he wants to use the girls' bathroom. So gender dysphoria is very, very complex. And to be wanting to scratch yourself out of your body or mutilate your body or grow up to be something you're biologically not takes a lot of support and understanding that you will never become a true female. You will never become a true male. And is it worth all that when you could, you could wear what you want, you could be who you want? So these medical treatments are not advised in multiple scenarios. 1-877 Dr. Daliah.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra durable pocket hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free pocket pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Looking for a gift that can actually help secure someone's future? It's Mark Falter's new book, Common Sense Income Strategies. It makes the perfect gift for that special someone in your life. Mark has helped thousands of hardworking Americans secure their financial future by using time-tested strategies that continue to create wealth, whether the market is up or down. Strategies that will make perfect sense once you take the time to read this powerful book. Common Sense Income Strategies brings to you what Mark has been teaching in person and talking about on the radio for decades. You've worked too long and too hard not to see the fruits of your labor. To learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635. Secure your future with Common Sense Income Strategies by Mark Falter. Again, to learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra durable pocket hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free pocket pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
All right, we are back on the Dr. Daliah Show, 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So what is the largest organ of our body? Pop quiz from the other day. It's our skin. It is paramount that we take care of our skin, not only in the winter, but in the spring, fall, summer, men and women. We all have to take care of our skin. Sadly, the summer poses a lot of challenges. I am so excited about our next guest. Here to help is model, fashion, and beauty expert Vanita Aspen, who is teaming up with Olay and Secret to share her tips on how to refresh our body care routine this summer. Most of you know Vanita. She is one of the stars of Bravo's Southern Charm. Huge blog, popular, where she discusses the latest in beauty, fashion, and lifestyle trends. Welcome, Vanita Aspen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Wow. So it's hard. It is hard to keep up our skincare, our beauty. I use Olay. I'm a big Olay user because that's just what me, my aunt, my family's always used. But talk to us about some of the challenges we have as it pertains to summer beauty.
You know, as a model and beauty expert, summer skincare is always a hot topic that we discuss on Southern Charm. So, you know, like, the summertime means that we're outside more, we have more sun exposure, more heat, or we're sweating more, we have more clogged pores and dryness. So that's why I'm teaming up with Olay and Secret to help women achieve a body care routine that is simple, effective, and it gives you that extra burst of confidence during the hot summer months. With the new Summer Fizz collection from Olay and Secret, you don't have to choose between superior skin care and irresistible scents. You get both.
You know, it's interesting. I love how you bring this up because we do treat our body differently during the different times of year? Like if you're not, shall we say, if your work schedule is different, you're like, okay, well, I don't need to use this, or I don't need to put this on, or I'm going to skip makeup today. And if you skip makeup, you might then skip your moisturizer. What are some ways to simplify our summer routine so we're not skipping out on essentials?
I think a really good way to simplify that routine is making sure you're using multitasking products. So like Olay's body wash is going to hydrate you while you're in the shower, and then Secret's deodorant is going to keep you fresh all day with sweat and odor protection. So it's more so about staying ready without the extra step, because your skin needs a lot of TLC to stay hydrated and refreshed, and that's where Olay and Secret will come into play with the Summer Fizz collection. The products give you science-backed formulas to nourish the skin with a fun twist, and the scents smell like a carefree summer.
I see patient after patient this time of year with the red, irritated, burny underarm that they feel either is from the sweat and the moisture or from a deodorant or antiperspirant product that I use Secret also because I don't want to get the burning or the reaction. But sweat, odor, sometimes we could be making situations worse by using the wrong products.
Correct.
So what tips do you have that can in terms of products or powder or to beat sweat and odor?
So I live in Charleston, where it's super hot and humid all the time. So everything you're saying is top of mind to me about staying fresh and making sure that we're not sweating and stinky and things like that. So I have been loving the new Secret Clinical Strawberry Fizz Antiperspirant because it smells really good. It keeps me confident even on my really busy days or when it's super hot outside. Not only does it offer clinically proven odor protection against sweat from stress, heat, and activity, but it also features fun and fruity scents that smell like the essence of summer. And an added bonus, the Summer Fizz collection is enhanced with pro-hyaluronic acid to help promote a healthy skin barrier, which is, I guess, more so tapping back to the fact of the irritation. That'll help that go away.
That's awesome. I was at a dermatology conference years ago, and they showed on electronic microscopy how we sweat with the little eccrine glands in our underarms. And they said sometimes the best time to apply your perspirant and deodorant is at night. Shower at night, apply it. It plugs it up. I still do the morning routine. That's my routine. But there's an art to it. And I love that that you're bringing up the different options. So it's our skin. And for those of you joining us, we're talking to Vanita Aspen from Bravo Southern Charm. Actress, model, fashion, beauty expert with a popular blog, but also helping us today. We're really happy about that. Hydration. Oh, I cannot emphasize the need and how important it is to hydrate. Talk to us about that.
When you are spending days out in the summer at the pool or at the beach, you're just sitting there and the sun is basically taking up all your hydration. So making sure that you have a body wash when you go home that has nourishing ingredients to help lock that moisture back into your skin after a long day in the sun is going to be key. So the new Olay Summer Fizz body wash is expertly formulated with a hyaluronic serum complex, niacinamide, proglycerin, and lipids that are going to work together to deeply hydrate that skin. And it also has limited edition scents that is going to turn your shower into an invigorating oasis.
I love that. Any other factors our listeners have to consider?
So another factor that the listeners can consider is, making sure that it's not just about what works, it's about how the product makes you feel. So a good body wash or deodorant with an amazing scent can really boost your confidence and make every day feel like the first day of summer. So the Olay Body Wash Secret Clinical Antiperspirant Summer Fizz collection is available in 3 limited edition fruity scents: strawberry, watermelon, and mandarin. And right now, strawberry is my favorite scent.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Where can my listeners go for more information?
They can visit Olay.com or Secret.com to check out the Secret Summer Fizz collection online or in store nationwide.
Awesome. And Vanita, will be watching you on Southern Charm. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Anytime. All right, guys. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. You know, it took a long time for me to embrace putting things on my skin. I was not big on sunscreens. I was worried as a medical student about what we were absorbing. And sadly, I suffered as a result. So my logic of, well, you know, maybe we got to be careful what we're putting on our skin and what we're lathering up. Meanwhile, I can't tell you how many precancerous lesions I've had, dry, cracked feet. I've had to make a complete overhaul to turn around and find ways to protect my skin. And I didn't realize how much I took it for granted and how much you needed outside sources. You know, a lot of us train, even though I'm an MD, a lot of us train on, well, how can we do things naturally? How can we protect our body naturally? You'll see studies talking about how we shouldn't overwash our hair. We shouldn't over shower. I take 2 showers a day because 1, it rejuvenates me in the morning, and then 2, the hot water helps me sleep at night. But I'm washing off valuable bacteria and protective mechanisms and sweat lubricants that my skin is using. And so you have to kind of take into account, where do you live? I live in a very dry, hot area. I live in southern Nevada. I'm grateful that it's dry because then we don't have the humidity. But on the other end, drier areas age you more, make you wrinkle, crack, dry skin, itchy. And so, depending on where you live, you know, don't forget to talk to your medical provider. Don't forget to have those conversations with your dermatologist about what are proper things to do for your skin. It was my gynecologist who had suggested that I use moisturizer under my makeup. And I don't know if it was personal, but she just reminded me because maybe she saw me aging over the years. And I was, I'm like, well, my makeup is already, and I kind of put a base already. And I was, and it's like night and day, making sure that you have, and I use Olay products. I love Olay. We're out in the sun. You got to protect your skin. You do need vitamin D, but you do need to protect your skin from harmful rays. We do need to protect our underarms and areas from the acidity sometimes from our sweat. So definitely look at what is the some good options and talk to your medical provider about that. 1-877-DOC-DALI.
When we started writing our thoughts down on paper, it opened up endless possibilities. Ideas could grow beyond the borders of the mind, and it changed the world. Somewhere along the way, we lost touch with paper, distracted by devices made for every purpose except for thinking and focus. On edge, waiting for the next notification. But what if new technology didn't pull us away from paper, but brought us closer to it? Listen. That's not paper. It's the sound of the new Remarkable Paper Pro, rewriting the future. A paper tablet with a true color ink display, gentle reading light, and unheard of tactility. With digital features for taking notes, thinking, and organizing, without any distractions. Paper is about to change the world again. Get your paper tablet at remarkable.com today.
Hey guys, it's Clyde. We've had a lot of requests for Ground Zero merchandise, so we put together an online store with a big variety of high-quality items. I'm really excited to let you know about these things. We have a lot to offer you and your loved ones. In addition to our regular apparel, such as t-shirts, beanies, hoodies, and hats, we've expanded our product line with posters, flags, aprons, mugs, and a whole lot more. We also have Ground Zero collectibles along with a limited edition of items like a Clyde Lewis canvas portrait, a Ground Zero embroidered jacket that will certainly make for great gifts and for interesting conversations with family and friends. And we now offer publications such as Ron Patton's book about mind control, MK Zine, and back copies of the official magazine of Ground Zero while it was in print. Paranoia, the Conspiracy Reader, also coming in 2023, are updated and revised books that I've written. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. So shop today at our official store by going to groundzeromerch.com. Again, that's groundzeromerch.com.
Hey, America. How tired are you of mainstream corporate media's biased narratives and manipulated news? Their dishonesty and attempts to influence this generation have been exposed, put on display for anyone who's even half paying attention. But the New American Magazine has been an honest source of news and commentary for over 50 years. This is your opportunity to receive the stalwart of principled journalism at a deep discount. Picture a beautifully published magazine arriving at your doorstep twice a month, packed with insightful stories written with integrity. It's also available digitally on the New American's mobile app. Get up to speed with intelligent coverage from a freedom perspective. Right now, for a limited time, the New American is available to radio listeners at a 25% discount on a new subscription. Visit thenewamerican.com/radio25 and receive 25% off. Subscribe today at thenewamerican.com/radio25.
Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Daliah, 1-877 DOCDALI. So I think a lot of us are waiting for details on what happened. But in LA, you see a woman jump on a person's car. I think this was at 5th and Hill Streets. And a woman jumps on the car, and you see a car trying to, I guess, leave the crowd, unless that car was coming in to the crowd to cause harm. So I'm not sure if the woman was trying to save others or if this was a car just trying to get to work and somebody jumps on the car. She jumps on the hood of the car. The car tries to leave. She falls over to the side, and the car runs over her. Now, she was one of the protesters. And fire officials said the victim was hit by a motorist driving at slow speed and suffered an isolated lower extremity injury. And the driver fled the scene, didn't stop, didn't identify themselves, didn't render aid. But many people have reached out saying, but if he was trying to escape the rioters coming to his car, what do you do? Well, you don't want to run people over, but we need to find out what that situation was. Was he there to run people over? He needs to get arrested, book thrown at him. But as we saw years ago with the riots, people driving and making a wrong turn that get descended upon by crowds, they make judgment calls on how to keep themselves safe and get the hell away. But what do you do if nobody's getting out of your way and you are trying to get the hell out of there? We talk, we get trained with carjackings. If you could drive and get the hell away from the person coming up to your window, get away, because they could shoot you, they could kill you. So if somebody's approaching your car, if somebody is coming up to your window and you think you're going to be carjacked or killed, and you gun it to get away from that person, what are your legal protections? Now, again, we don't know much about what this situation was. What I remember is there was a red car. All I saw in the video was the red car was it looked like the red car was stopped. And there were people approaching the car and a woman jumping on the car. So they drive away, but they can't turn right, they can't turn left because they're people. She falls to the side, but he runs over her. Now, I don't know why she was, jumping on the car. Was she jumping on the car to protest, or was she jumping on the car trying to protect other people? I don't know. But now people are looking for this person because it's a hit and run. There's a search underway according to KTLA 5. And so people are asking, what do you do if you are, driving in LA or Chicago or New York or Las Vegas and people start descending on your vehicle? Now, one person told me that during the BLM protests that some later turned to riots, what they did was they had signs in their car. So if people started to approach your vehicle, because remember you saw in LA, they were pulling people out of their cars. And I don't know why the protests years ago got that. Why were they pulling people out of their vehicles? And so many people were saying what they do is they have signs in their car. So if they do get approached by an angry mob, they could show their support sign and hopefully be let through. But again, the question remains, you don't want to run anybody over, but if you think your life is in jeopardy, how do you get away from the crowd? Years ago, there would be video footage, and police were questioning, was the person trying to get the hell away from the crowd, or were they running into a crowd? It's easy to pick up the motive and the intent if you have CCTV, if they could see the car prior to the turn. So if you see a car that's following the stoplights and making a turn, and then all of a sudden, you see them put on their brakes, go, whoa. They look to reverse, but they can't reverse. Now they're being descended upon. That whole picture might provide you some protection, if you are trying to save yourself and get the hell away. Now, but again, this peaceful assembly shouldn't be a threat to people. There should not be anybody approaching your car if it's a peaceful assembly. Nobody should be jumping and throwing themselves on your vehicle. Now, could they misconstrue and think that you are there to drive through the crowd? That could happen. But, God forbid, somebody's trying to carjack you or a mob is coming to you, and we've seen the pictures of people being pulled out of their vehicles. Safety is first. So the first thing I recommend is know where you're driving to. Usually these protests or these peaceful assemblies are announced. We're going to be here. We're doing it at this time. The city might say, okay, you're going to protest until 8 or 9 with a curfew. So kind of be aware of that. But if you're driving anywhere else and somebody's approaching your car, you got to get the hell away because that could be a carjacker. Look at that woman in Florida last year that was shot in broad daylight at a stop sign because somebody wanted her car at a stoplight. So people approaching your vehicle are a threat until proven otherwise. But that doesn't give you the legal protection to run them over. What I'm seeing in video footage is I think people are driving. They're thinking they could, because they can't back up, they could make a turn or and then they get themselves in a situation where now they're stuck. And so know where you're going. We use GPS and we rely on GPS, but GPS may not always tell us where there's going to be activity. And, if you do feel threatened, you got to save your life. You got to get the hell out of there. Try not to hit anybody. For the love of God, please try not to hit anybody. But show you're safe. Can I get through? But if a mob is not letting you get through and you feel you're in danger, you got to get out of there safely. They usually recommend to not leave your car. They say call emergency services, call 911 from your vehicle. If you are being descended upon, to call 911. Now, usually at these areas, there's police around. Because I know people are like, oh my gosh, I could be stuck and there'll be no police. Usually there's police around. So there should be time enough for you to be safe. But stay in your car. They say don't engage, don't escalate. Try to gather evidence, try to put your phone on and videotape what they're yelling and screaming at you, because if police aren't coming and you now feel or you see a gun, you at least, if you do have to leave and save your life, you have at least some video to protect yourself. But, It's tricky because somebody jumping on your car, the burden of proof is on you. Were you at risk? A woman jumping on the car, did that put you in mortal danger? But the logic dictates you're like, well, if she's trying to stop me, other people are going to descend. So I need to get out now before more people descend. Always contact an attorney. If you do get yourself into some legal trouble, again, try not to run anybody over. Call 911 and try to stay within your vehicle and get out of there if you can safely. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Hi guys, Dr. Daliah here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious such as food, internet, or shopping. Addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdaliah.com. Check it out.
Lisa Wolf here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you. And be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.